Anyone who's travelled more than a few flights will have likely experienced being in a holding pattern, whether they were fully aware of it or not. And while flying in a big circle can be fun the first time around, it gets to be painful as time goes on, psychologically knowing that you're almost at your destination but not quite. But on May 8th, an A330-900 operated by Garuda Indonesia was put in a holding pattern far, far from its destination, just past the midway point of the flight, and for 4.5 hours. Why was this the case? We take a look for today's video. As reported by 1 Mile at a Time, it was on May 8, 2026 that Garuda Indonesia flight GA4208 was operating from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia to Medan, Indonesia. The flight was operated by the Airbus A330-900neo, registered Papa Kilo Golf Hotel India, and is a service that typically takes around 8 hours. However, on the day of our epic holding pattern, passengers were on board for close to 13 hours. It's highlighted that the first 5 hours and 20 minutes of the flight was pretty routine, with the plane making its way across Saudi Arabia, Oman, and the Arabian Sea. However, as the jet crosses the southern part of India, the plane enters a holding pattern. Sure, holding patterns are a routine occurrence in air travel, but it's not often you have a jet going into one of these holds while being hours away from its destination. And well, it's also not often you have jets staying in a holding pattern for 4.5 hours. So what exactly was the cause of this marathon holding pattern? Well, it was reportedly due to a large portion of the airspace around the Bay of Bengal being closed down for the test of the Agni 6, an Indian next-generation intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM. And while militaries are supposed to be good with timings and executing tasks on schedule, the real world can see a lot of the phenomenon known as hurry up and wait during exercises and operations. Of course, we don't know if the missile testing was supposed to take that long, but we imagine if it was scheduled to take several hours, then the Garuda flight and others would have just delayed departure or changed flight plan. What's truly impressive to us is the amount of time the A330-900 was in this holding pattern. Indeed, it's a bit surprising to us that the jet essentially stayed in the air 50% longer than is usual for this scheduled service, and then still had enough fuel to make it to its destination. Was the jet tankering and filling up with cheap Saudi fuel instead of filling up in Indonesia? Or maybe pilots were warned of testing well ahead of time and filled up knowing there could be a lengthy hold. Whatever the case may be, our heart certainly goes out to the passengers of this particular flight who had to endure flying around and around and around for 4 hours, far away from their destination. But what do you think of how this was handled? Let us know by leaving a comment. In addition to our daily YouTube videos, Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.